Hello everyone, this is a video about bicycle touring in Estonia and things you should know before coming here. So, you want to come to Estonia to do a bicycle tour. That's a great idea. We have got many options for cyclists. We also have a lot of camping sites and we have different routes and trails for you to take, so it's definitely a good idea to come to Estonia for a bicycle tour. Estonia's nature is very diverse and even during a short tour you will probably see a lot of different nature. Estonia is a rather flat country. We don't really have any big mountains. Our highest point above sea level is 318 meters. This is in the southeast, which is sort of part of country that has hills, but the rest of it is really flat. I'm sitting on the northwestern coast, which is my favorite part of the country, and here it's really smooth. As you can see, it's also a little bit windy. Estonian weather is also very diverse. The best time to come would be any time from May to maybe September, then it's the warmest, and you should be prepared for all kinds of weather. Especially if you're going somewhere near the sea, then you should be prepared for wind and rain, and even in the height of summer we can get quite cold nights. So if you're cold sensitive like I am, then be prepared for some lower temperatures. What else should you know about Estonian nature? Whoa, bike's dropping. As you can see, it is windy. What kind of bike should you bring? Well, Estonia has, I think, decent roads to use a road bike or a city bike, but I prefer at any time something like this. It's not an actual mountain bike. It wants to fall over on top of me. But it does have wider tires with more structure than you would have on a road bike. So this is my pick, but you could probably use a road bike on most of the roads, depending on whether you want to ride on paved roads or you don't mind off-roading or using some kind of forest trail. Now, when you're planning your trip, you are likely to pick out an existing route. You could always just, bring a map and just point somewhere, but as a well-planned hiker, you will probably choose a route. Estonia has got a lot of cycling routes, but the problem is that there's not much information about them online. We do have Eurovelo routes, number 10, 11 and 13, but their website is really useless in terms of information. We have a local map, Estonian cycling routes, which features 73 routes, ranging anything from 20 kilometers to over 1,000, so there are really a lot of options. Problem is, again, you can just buy it here, but you don't have an online preview when you're planning, so I don't know how you're supposed to visit the country like this. But I will do a separate video on this map, which I've folded the wrong way. I will do a separate video on this map, and I will talk about the routes featured here, and I will show them on the video, so you will have at least an idea of what options you have. Another option for you, especially if you like mountain biking or if you like to ride on forest trails, is the official hiking trails by the State Forest Management. Unlike the Eurovelo, they have a lot of good information online, and the link will be in the description. There are two routes at the moment, two trails. and the longest one is slightly over 800 kilometers. So yes, you can do it in sections, you can do it in whole, you have your options. They have information on their website in English, but unfortunately no brochure yet in English, which is a really annoying thing. But I will feature those trails also in my Estonian cycling routes video. Now, what else should a cyclist be prepared for? Traffic, an important topic. You have to stay safe, of course. In the cities you should use a bicycle lane or a separate bicycle road if there is one. There are also those in populated areas, and they're the safest option for a cyclist. Sometimes there are a lot of people walking, roller skating or with their little children, so you should pay attention. But it's definitely a better idea to use a bicycle road rather than go on the main road. You can of course always ride on the main road, but you have to pay really good attention, and when you're on a big road then just be very, very careful. Unfortunately, I have to say Estonian drivers are not always the most cyclist-friendly drivers in the world. Now, when you are doing overnight rides or you are riding in the evening, then you have to have a set of lights. It doesn't have to be a very bright or a very big light, but you have to have a white one in the front and a red one in the back, and you should use them in blinking mode. This is to make you visible and to ensure your safety and that you can be seen by drivers. Yeah, you have to have lights, and if you don't have them and you're riding in the evening when the sun has set and it's starting to get dark, you could get a fine for not using them. So, other things that you should know is that you can camp at the official camping sites managed by, again, the State Forest Management. They're usually really, really nice. You can also wild camp, but you're not allowed to make fire anywhere other than the official camping site's fire pits. This is very important to reduce the threat to forest fires. This area where I'm sitting right now, the northwest coast, is especially prone to fires, and they have been really devastating in the past, so we would like to avoid them as much as possible. So yes, be very, very careful when using a stove, and remember that you cannot make a fire anywhere other than the pre-existing fire pits. So, what else? Water sources, also very important. Official camping sites don't necessarily come with a water source, and when they do, it can be anything from a stream or a river to a lake, and sometimes in the summer, in the really, really warm weathers, the lakes can get quite nasty. Generally speaking, Estonian water is okay. It's probably cleaner than in a lot of other parts of the world, and you are definitely okay if you use a filter or if you boil it. The only water source I would use without any treatment is water from the springs. There is a link to a map in the description to these springs, but again you have to evaluate the situation yourself and decide whether it's okay to drink from it, and you can always use a filter to be on the safe side. When you are a cyclist, you will encounter little towns and little villages, and be sure to stop at the little village shops, and if your bike is prepared enough you can always carry all the water with you, and you can buy it from the shops, like I do mostly, or you can, if you don't like the idea of buying water, which is perfectly fine, then you can always ask for drinking water in the households that you bypass. If you ask nicely, people, I'm sure, will give you some water, and it's totally okay. A few words about transportation and getting to your starting point once you've decided what you want to do. What kind of bike tour do you want to do? As far as public transport is concerned, then inner city public transport, buses, trams, they don't allow you to take your bike unless it's like packed into a bag or something like that. Intercity buses, which go between big cities, they may allow you to take and put your bike into the cargo hold, but you cannot be 100% sure that the bus driver will allow you. So my advice is to use a train. We have decent train service, and you can get to a lot of points in the country, a lot of places using a train. And on the train you can take your bike for free. I will show you the website for the train service in Estonia. When you pick out a route or where you want to go by train, it will even show you which times and which trains are a good idea for a cyclist. You are allowed to take your bike on any train, of course, but the rush hour trains can be really full, and it will be really annoying for you to take your bike on that one. So yes, you can see on the website they have highlighted in green the trains where it is a better idea to bring your bicycle. So this was a video about bicycle touring in Estonia. If you have any questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will try to reply to you as soon as possible. See you next time.